Hello. Today we're gonna have a fun lesson. This is basically how to make organic forms, and we're gonna make a marine creature stingray because most of the marine mammals they have an aerodynamic form to them, and we're gonna learn on how to create these wavy surfaces and kind of blend them together. So if you look at the stingray, the biggest surface curvature that I see, like the main part, is where these wings or arms go up, and then from the head to tail, it kind of goes downward. So we're gonna have these curves blending together and kind of give us this top surface, and then we'll have another one kind of giving us a bottom surface. Kind of hard to draw this one, but I'm gonna go over the existing model that I have for you guys to just overall talk about what is the approach before we start building this together. So I'm gonna go all the way to the top. Here we go. It starts with a boundary surface, and with the boundary surface, I have multiple curve built in. If you would, this is the tip of the wing, and then this is the tail. So one thing that's very common in surface modeling, you do not model the surface right to the edge of the form. You go way past. So when you come and cut, you have a very clean edge. This, I am kind of taking an approach of making this into 4 corners because it is a symmetrical animal, and I'm kind of making it simple by saying the top wave and the bottom wave will be similar, and then when I come and cut, this portion will be cut smaller than the back. So starting with this, I'm mirroring both of those. Now imagine these are the wings, creating another boundary surface on the bottom, so I have a thickness, putting those together so there's a solid form in there, and now we come in and get the form of the stingray from the top and kind of use the difference. So we automatically get like a really nice form here. Now it comes about like creating this top portion, this portion that's completely blended. So we are here. We are creating a surface split on the top, removing that portion, and recreating another surface. You see that? And here, if you look, this edge is pretty sharp, so we come in and remove that. And to create like a nicer blend, I'm adding a surface to trim the bottom. Here I went to half again because it would be too much work to just do the 2 sides, and it may not come together as cleanly, so it's better to work on half of it. Another boundary surface for the bottom, so it gives us this smooth look. And the back side, mirroring and filleting the edges. And if I go here, you can see I have a very organic form. Very nice. And this is mainly just to practice boundary surfaces and the edges and drawing. So let's get it started together. Here we go. We are going to use millimeter. Always, it's easier. Again, make sure you have features, sketch, surface, markup. If you don't have any of this, right click on this gray bar, go under tabs and turn on these menus. And then turn off anything you don't need so it's not busy. All right, we're gonna start out with our right plane today. do a sketch. And we are going to start with the center line. Here we go. So this is the arc of the wing I'm creating, the one I drew. So actually use the arc tool. I'm using a 3-point arc here. So come here, over there, and over here. You see how I'm not connected? I'm just loose with this. When I hold shift, selecting these two, set them to be horizontal. So now they'll move together. I don't have the bottom hooked yet. I'm gonna go find the center point here and then hold shift and connect it to that. Coincident, nice. And let's see. Actually, I wanted this. Actually, I need this. Okay. I measure this height to be 7 millimeter and measure half of this to be 15, which will, this should have turned to 30. Something did not work here. Coincidence? Here we go. Now we have a fully defined form. All right. So this is our first arc. Just to kind of give you guys an idea. We have this arc. We're gonna make another arc for the bottom. That's for the tail. And then we'll work on a surface here. So you guys can see how that looks with a boundary. You can see this will be a transition. It will actually, this will keep being the same size. And then this is not what we're going to use. I'm just trying to show you guys. We will come in and let's see, add another curve down here so we can kind of control this transition going downward for the tail. And then afterwards, we're going to come in and add a connecting curve. Again, controlling all of these together. So you'll learn how to do boundaries with 2 curves, 3 curves, 4 curves, and later on 5 curves. Right, so we're gonna go to the front plane now and do a sketch. I rotate my view so it's easier to see. I'm gonna click on the origin, and this is a spline I'm doing. Control 8. We learned this in the past. So we want to have a horizontal line with shift on these two with equal curvature. So it's a smooth transition downward. And measurement for this to this. I use 5. And then from here to here, I use 30. Feels big, but so is like trying to get like a really smooth transition. The tail portion of the stingray is longer, so that's why. All right, and if we were just to use these two, I just want to show you guys quickly. You don't have to do this. We can just use 2 sides to do a boundary surface, one direction, and then second direction. So direction 1 would be this. Direction 2 would be this, right? You can see, makes a nice surface, right? Now, we want to control the bottom. So we want for direction 1 and 2, and then for direction 2, still would be this kind of like a guide curve. I'm gonna go, I need to make a plane down here. And so I'm gonna turn on my right plane because it's parallel to the right plane. I'm holding control and coming to the edge of this plane until this four-corner arrow shows up. And then this. 1 second. Okay. All right. So it comes out, it doesn't know the dimension. I'm going to pick this point as my dimension, which we know it's 30. So here we go. This is my plane 1. We're going to sketch on this one now. Another arc. Again, I'm going to put the points kind of loose and come back to it. Make these horizontal. Try to find the center point and this point and make it coincident. Then let's, oh, I want to give it a height measurement. Again, this is a marine mammal. It's not specific product with internal components. So this is a bit more forgiving. Here we go. So now let's look at this. I like to hide everything so I have a clean working area. Under surfaces, boundary surface. Now under direction 1, I'm going to pick this. And okay, here's another thing. If I pick here, look, this twists because it wherever you click to the next one, it makes a direct connection. If I go delete that one and come and pick on this side, now it's a string. So now it's building this, completely ignoring our center guide. Now we're going to go to direction 2 and add our center guide. It's nice and smooth, right? Okay. I still want more control over this form because as you can see, this kind of droops down. It's not a nice curve. So we're going to control that edge as well. So we're not going to make this boundary. Need another plane over here so I can make a sketch connecting these two together. Okay, I have a front plane, hold control one more time. And we're going to pick this point. Perfect. Now do a sketch. There's going to be 2-point spline. This plane 2 text is right on my view. Okay, here we go. Click here. Okay, if you can't see it, it's okay. You can just come back and put them together later. They look like they're together. I think this wasn't 30. I did not measure that to be 30. So I need to go back and fix that one. Okay, let's make this one. Go here. Make sure this is horizontal. And these two, I'm going to set them equal curvature. And push this back a bit. I do the same thing on this side. So you have this really nice wave happening. Make a center line. This and this, holding shift. Equal curvature, nice. This is the wing, so this is more important. I'm going to make this a bit, I'm going to shrink it a bit more. So that's what's pushing. Again, it's nice to have some measurement so we know what we're doing. Let's do 40 on this and let's do 20 on that one. We can always come back up and change it. Let me see. 40 might be too much. Let's do 30. Yeah, that looks better. Change this one also to 25. Okay, so I need to go fix this thing because we can't build a surface having these two separated. I'm just gonna go here and measure from here to be 30. And that should land here. However, these, I don't think they're connected because there was nothing to connect. And most likely, oh, it is connected. What do you know? Makes sense. Yeah, checking, making sure. So now, hiding this plane, let's try to make 1, 2 for the direction 1 and 1, 2 for the direction 2. So another boundary surface. It's 1, 2, nice. And here, 1 and 2. Look at that. Perfect. So if we look at it, these lines, if you don't see your lines, you can come down here on curvature display, mesh preview. We can actually make this higher. So this is how you understand the quality of your surface. These need to be perpendicular to the edges that you pick. If they do funny wavy stuff, that's not good. So right now I have an asymmetrical surface because I haven't built the other side. And honestly, because these are going to be mirrored, I'm not going to build this side. So let me just show you the surface as is. I only need half of this. I can come in and cut, or when I'm doing my boundary, let's clear all of these. For the direction 1, which I want to pick this, I only want to pick half of it. So I'm going to right click here and say select manager, selection manager. Make sure these 3 arrows is turned on. When I click this, there's 2 points here and here. I grab that point and bring it to here. So you have to zoom in to make sure you are on that point. You want to double check. Sometimes it changes icon, so it's easier to see that you are on the same point. Sometimes it doesn't. I'll press OK. Now I pick that portion. Now I'm gonna pick. Don't worry about this pink. This is a graphic glitch. And then again, do selection manager, pick this, and then go grab this point. And yeah, sometimes the icon from arrow changes to point, so it's easy for you to know you're on the right place. Press OK. Oops, what did I do? Do you know what that means? And redo this. I think I selected this one more towards in the center. I don't remember. Okay. How about this? I'll take a chance. Let's do selection manager. I'm gonna pick it on this corner and grab it down. Make sure on this point. Oh, see that icon? That's what I was talking about. Perfect. And press OK. It's twisted. Okay, I'm gonna remove the top one and pick it one more time. Selection manager. It doesn't really matter if you come from top to bottom or bottom to top. I just had to pick the similar side. You see that point? That was what I was looking for. All right, good, nice. And on this side, it's easy because you don't really have multiple selections. Here and here, done. So again, I'm only using half of this. Okay, now you see all these? Because I want to mirror this to that side and this to that side, this needs to be normal to profile. And the top portion, this also needs to be normal to profile. These other two, it doesn't really matter to me because I'm gonna come in and cut around them anyway. So I'm not gonna put too many restrictions on the surface. Now let be. Here we go. It may not look like anything right now, but once we have our mirrors, so I'm gonna mirror bodies, this to that side. Okay, and then one more time, mirror under features using right plane, bodies to mirror. I'm just gonna make a big box. Here we go. All right, this is the wing portion of the stingray. I might actually go in and make this a bit less. Maybe look at my picture. I'm kind of working on this one. I had to show you guys the side views. It looks too big, so oh, that one, this is sketch. Rather than 30, I'm gonna do 25. Yeah, that looks nicer. Okay, so I'm only gonna use like a little bit of the front and a lot more of the back. So we'll get, see, examining my surface. So do you guys see how this starts flat and it drops off a little bit? I think I know what it is. I go back here. So I did put normal to profile, but I did not see. I wish I would do more of it. Yeah, no, we definitely need normal to profile. Okay, here we go. That's what I was looking for. So we need the tangency influence. So I'm gonna push this up. Do you see how that changes? Look, going from a bump into a fully smooth shape. So same thing on that side. I'm gonna do, I think when I come back to edit, it kind of doesn't show up. So I'm gonna do none. And then I'm gonna go normal to profile. Now it shows up. Again, let's look at this. Perfect. All right, so much better. And you can always come and evaluate your surfaces while you don't have lines. Now we can see there is no sections. We can't see the sections. I'm gonna go back to my lines. Now I'm gonna come in and add kind of like a bump on the top and then create another boundary surface because this is surface and I need a solid. So here we go on the front plane, do a sketch, do a spline from this point to this point, and so I need this to be curvature continuous. Here, I do a convert entity. Actually, do I need it to be curvature continuous? Not really. I don't. I'm going to put a center line and kind of control the thickness of it. Maybe from here to here. here. You just have to put a line and then try to match it with a line. Let's do 3 millimeter thickness on there. Okay. You know what? I'll even this out. That might be better. I don't like how I can't connect these two together. So I'm going to delete this and I come in with my spline. Select from here to that point and do a horizontal. Set this horizontal and that to be curvature continuous. And then mirror this over. Like this. Use my center line. That should be connected. Okay, so just made arc in the middle. Now I use these edges and that center to make another surface. Here we go. Surfaces, boundary surface. I'm going to pick these two, so I need selection manager. Multiple pieces, this one and this one. And I right click, you see the check mark on the mouse, and it picks it. Then I don't need the middle. Here, this one. Oops, I did not do selection manager. This one and this one. All right, perfect. Now on this side, we have 3 parts. So selection manager. Making sure I see the edges. This one and this one. Oh, selection manager. This one and this one. Press check. Then my centerpiece. Okay, here we go. It's dropping down. And lastly, selection manager. These two, pressing check mark. All right. And we have another surface on top of that surface. All right. Here, this I want to be tangency to face. So they come into the same portion. It kind of narrows it in because I want that wing to become very thin in this and the edges. And wait, which one's which? Okay, so this is the blue. The blue is a tail. Also want this to be tangency to face. So I does not like it. And the pink, same thing. Let's do tangency to face. As long as they don't run over each other, you guys see how like it becomes very close. So if I do none, you see how it's like this big opening? Might be okay. I don't like it narrower for the wings at least. We'll make a surface and we'll see if it gives us an error message. We can see here. Let's select these. Actually, first I need to knit them together. So I'm going to knit these things together and then create a solid. Okay, good. So now let's check. I have this nice solid here, which is the base. Or this is the part we didn't do. Now this is going to be the head portion that's thicker. And that's the tail portion. Okay. So now that we have our surface, actually this is a solid now. Trying to think if I like this or not. I'm gonna keep it for now. If this becomes too thin and problematic when we're building our edges, that corner, we'll come back and fix this. Now we're gonna go to top plane, do a sketch. This is gonna be the body form of a stingray. So I'm just gonna put a center line down and make sure these two are coincident. And going to put down a spline. Do a 2-point spline. Actually, the 3-point splines would be quicker. I want to mirror the spline over, so it's essential that I actually set this to be. Oh. Just do the bottom one. It's going to be narrow, curve, at least. Be vertical. Okay. Here, also vertical. This is the head portion. And make it. Trying to imagine a top view of a stingray. What would that look like? That's the head. This is the tail. Maybe I'll pull this down. Let me look at some. I think the measurement I used, this was about 8. And then overall, let's do 35, 35, 35. Right, and I'll give it a measurement. Let's do 12. Don't want to go so close to that corner. I do want these two to be in the same line, so when we do our surfaces, it will make our life easier. Yeah, and it's the corner. And I like that curve in there. It made it look interesting. The bottom is usually softer. The top is more dynamic. Maybe let's only do 15 on that one. Make the wings go out a bit more. Okay, so this doesn't really matter again. This is just a form. Creatures come in different shapes and forms, so however you do it, it's just fine. Right, this is our stingray. And then the creature, extrude boss. And do a mid plane. So we'll pass through the other solid body. One thing to make sure here, we're not merging these two. They're gonna be two separate bodies. Say okay. Now it doesn't make any sense right now, but we're gonna come, gonna subtract this from that and then keep the middle by going to insert, feature, intersect. So I'm gonna pick this and this to intersect. And then these are the ones that we're removing. So we're only left with this. Now you see how this is so thick. This portion we want it to be thick. This portion I didn't want it to be that thick. Oh, maybe I'm gonna push this curve out a bit more. Let's go to the sketch. Okay. And 14. Push this out slightly more. And we go super thick in the middle. Oh, it's okay. And surface. And also make it thinner by kind of playing with these two sides. So I have tangency to face, tangency to face. Bottom, also to tangency to face. And I think this part got a bit narrower, which is nice. Okay. Now we have a center portion. So you see how the center is kind of flat and the animal actually has a bump in the middle. So we're going to create that bump. To create this bump, this is like form blending into a form. I'm going to go to my top plane and do a sketch. Again, we'll use a center line. Okay. And I'm going to come in. I like to look at this way. And come in and put down. Trying to get closer to the front of the head. So this is basically an organic form. So if I look at this, I don't have a top view. It's wider here and then kind of narrows to the bottom. So I'm going to try to do, actually I can do a 2-point arc. Let's delete this. Put this here. This is, because I rotate this, I don't think that this is vertical. Okay.